having our Tuesday gait cycle day. So most things today are going to be opposite hand and foot. There are a couple though that are a little bit tricky. So I'll be walking around and watching those specifically. We have the first two moves are in the room, and we're starting in the room with a barbell good morning. So I'm using a weighted bar, but the barbells are in there. Brandon's put weights on some of them, so there should be something for everybody in there. No weights, lighter bar, whatever. But we're starting with the good morning. So the barbell is in the back rack position. The main thing with the good morning is that your feet are not too wide. You want to have them just about shoulder width apart, okay? And when you're doing this, you're hinging at the waist and trying to keep your back nice and flat. So I like to grab the bar like this, so I'm pulling my shoulder blades together. When I pull my shoulder blades together, it almost forces me to keep that back flat, and it forces that barbell to stay in the right position, kind of sitting right there in the back of my neck. And then you come straight up using those hamstrings. Again, you're going sitting back, thinking of sitting back into a chair, keeping those hips back, and then coming straight up. We really want to avoid any rounding of the back. Your breathing on this is going to be you're inhaling, pulling that belly button in as you come down, and then as you exhale, you're pulling in even more so that your hips are nice and solid as you pull up. The second move in there is a banded single leg. How did she word this? Hold on, I didn't have it written down. It is a banded single leg hip hinge and press. So I'm using this just for visualization's sake, but in there are the handle bands around the rack. You're going to pull them so that your hands are here in front of you, each in a handle. And you want there to be tension, but not too much, because what we're doing is we're single leg hinging. So you're gonna go back. One leg's gonna go back, and the leg that's back, that same arm is gonna press forward and come back and then stand back up. So it's opposite. Whatever leg is stabilizing, the opposite hand is pressing. So hinge, okay, leg goes back, same arm presses forward while this arm kind of stays in this stabilizing bent position. So you'll do 6 to 8 on one side, and then you'll switch. So then if my left leg is stabilizing, my right leg's gonna go back, and I'm gonna press forward with my right arm, come back, and then come back to standing, okay? So the bands are in there. We have all the different resistances. You can also use this. That actually works pretty well. You just put it around your back. So if you go in there and all the bands are being used, this is also an option, okay? So those are the first two moves in the room. Then you're gonna come out here, and we start with a dumbbell pendulum swing. So we've got our dumbbell in our hand. This is split stance. So we've got, this is one of those where it's same side. So the hand that, or the foot that's forward is the side that the dumbbell goes back on. And this is mostly just because it's more safe for your knee so you don't hit it. And we're just hinging, okay? Using that same hinge that we did on those first two moves in the room to move this pendulum, or this dumbbell in the pendulum swing. So we're hinging back and then coming forward. And we're just letting kind of the momentum of that swing pull those hips straight back, okay? On this, I like to keep my gaze a little bit forward. I find that when I watch people do this and they tend to look down, it's really easy to round. So when I'm doing this, I like to keep my eyes a little bit forward because it forces my neck to stay in a more neutral position, and it keeps the rest of my body kind of in that straight. So you're gonna do 10 on each side. Then we have a single leg glute bridge. We did this a couple weeks ago, the single leg glute bridge with the dumbbell pull over. So we're in that glute bridge, we're pushing through the heel of the one stabilizing leg. The dumbbell and the knee come together, and then they both extend out together. So that dumbbell goes overhead, and then we bring them in. So we inhale as we extend, and we're pulling in that core nice and tight. And then we exhale and get a full crunch and a full activation of that core so that it's not just our hip flexor pulling in that weight and that knee, it's our actual core and our lower abdominals. So you have 6 to 8 on each side of those. Then we've got a bear crawl with a wall ball push. So the way this works is we're gonna bear crawl 3 steps and then push that wall ball. So we don't want to obviously push it with all of our strength, or we could, most of you could probably push it from the blue line to the white line. So it's just, you're in that nice solid bear crawl position. Okay, feet are about shoulder width apart. You're gonna push that wall ball and then 1, 2, 3, and then push it again, 1, 2, 3. You want to get a distance that allows you about 3 steps between each push. 16 total pushes. So you guys can choose to just do 16 all the way down and like not take a break, just let momentum keep going. You can choose to do 8 and then turn around and do 8 and stop at the same spot. Whatever you want to do, okay? Just make sure that your push isn't too strong. You want, again, to make sure that there's about 3 steps between each wall ball push. So we've got that. That is circuit 1. Circuit 2 is over here, and we are starting with a push-up with a knee tuck. A little bit. Okay, so we're starting with a push-up with a knee tuck. So we're in that push-up position. We're bringing one knee up, and we're actually just going to leave it here and do our push-up with that knee in that tuck position. So we're here. Okay, push-up comes down. So you're gonna do 5 on one side and then switch. You should feel this in the opposite shoulder of the knee that's forward. You're going to use that one more. So you wanna be conscious that that is the side that's taking the most tension and taking the most weight, is that opposite shoulder, okay? Because you're gonna kind of lean into that more because that knee's forward. So 5 on each side. Then we have our supine lateral kettlebell press with a bicycle crunch. So we've got our kettlebell, and we're in that supine position. So we're here, okay? As your first exhale, when you first exhale, come up just enough so that the bottom of your shoulder blades are on the ground, but you're up. And we're doing a bicycle crunch from here. So we're gonna push up and crunch and then come back. And then push up and crunch. So the same leg of the side that the kettlebell's on is extending as you crunch, okay? And you're doing 8 on each side. Then we go into a weighted bar overhead carry. So the weighted bars are down there. Did I skip one? I feel like I skipped one. No, I didn't. Not yet. Okay, so weighted bar overhead carry is from blue to white. So this weighted bar, okay, make sure that our back is not swayed. We're pulling that core in nice and tight, finding that neutral position, walking all the way from blue to white. When we get down there, we've got 5 presses. So that bar is gonna come down, and we're gonna do, or 5 or 6 to 8? 6, we'll say 6 to 8. 6 to 8. Okay, so we got 6 to 8 presses. When you're done with that, that bar goes back overhead and you walk back to the blue line where you will do 6 to 8 presses again. So 6 to 8 at the white line, 6 to 8 at the blue line when you're done. The next move is a banded pullback with a switch step. So we're doing that number 3 again because we want the opposite foot to end up forward each time. So we've got this band around kind of the bottom of your hand so that when you pull back, you can get a really wide, make your hands nice and big and get a wide pull. So we're pulling back, elbows come to a T, and then 1, 2, 3, and release, pull back, 1, 2, 3, and it should be a different foot forward each time. You got 10 total of those. The last move is a plank walk out and in. So we're here in that plank position. Okay, breathe, exhale, pull that core in nice and tight, and just slowly walk your hands out as far as you can until you feel that lower back start to kind of feel it, and then just walk back in. These ones, honestly, everybody looks different doing these. Very few people can walk very far out. So if your plank walkout looks like that, that is fine. I would rather you guys be able to keep your hips nice and neutral and your back nice and flat than to try and walk way out. You're just gonna do more harm than good. Okay, so pay attention to what your lower back is feeling and doing, and really breathe and exhale and think about your core supporting you in that move rather than your back and your shoulders. Okay, your core is much stronger than your back and shoulders. And that's it. So that's circuit 2. I'll split you guys up. The warm-up